IGCSE Computer Science, Syllabus Statement 2.2.1a, Declare and use variables and constants. So we looked at variables, and all through these past videos. We created variables for totaling, counting, averaging, and stuff like that. But what is a variable even? A variable is a named data store containing a value which can change during the execution of a program. So take a look at this program here. We have a totaling program. You input 10 numbers, totals the 10 numbers, and then outputs the total. So the variables here are total, count, and num. What this means is these variables, these three variables, can be changed in the program during the execution of the program. Like, you could say input num equals 10, and then total equals total plus num, so it just keeps adding 10 instead of the actual number that you've input. So, like, num can change. Total changes in this program because total, like, it keeps adding num. And count also changes because count keeps incrementing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's what makes these three variables. A constant is a named data store containing a value which can't change during the execution of a program. I mean, it can if you say something like, oh, const apple price equals 10 at the top of your program. They use it in the program and say, oh, const apple price equals 20. I mean, yeah, you've changed it, but constants aren't meant to be changed. That's the whole idea here. In most high level languages, you can create a constant with I think sometimes the keyword const. In Java, it's final, and since they're strict on syntax, you can't change it. Like, you cannot change it. Like, it'll always stay the same. In pseudocode, not really strict on syntax, so constants are not meant to be changed. So variables are in blue in this pseudocode, and constants are in red. So the constant here is pi, so it's not meant to be changed. What it's meant to do is it's meant to be used in the program. Now, here's a question. Why would we use constants? Like, can't we just say product equals num times 3.14159264? Can't we just say that? Well, okay, think about it this way. What if we need to use a constant multiple times in the program? So we say, okay, product equals num times 3.14 or whatever. This equals this times 3.14 whatever. This equals this times 3.1 or whatever. So you've used it multiple times in the program, right? And then you think, no, hang on, this I don't want to use this value anymore. I want to use, say, 10. So now you're going to have to go through the entire program and say, all right, this have to change to 10. This have to change this to 10 as well. No, you don't have to deal with that if you're using constants. In constants, with constants, you have a constant at the top. You could say, okay, we'll just change pi to 10, so that whenever pi is used below this line, well, we don't have to change that because it's just going to be 10. So yeah, it just makes it easier. So yeah, that's pretty much it. When declaring constants, it's important that you know that you distinguish variables and constants. Constants are usually given as capital letters. So like pi is given as capital letters. If not, then you can have like const in front of it. So like const pi, like one keyword, const pi, no spaces. So yeah, maybe const at the front to tell the examiner that you're using a constant, or capital letters to tell them that you're using a constant. So take a look at this program. Constants are in red and variables are in blue. And this is an example of where you would use constants. So here's the thing. You could say total apple price equals 5 times apple num, total orange price equals 8 times orange num. And what if you're like you had a program which calculates the total, and then you're like a store owner or something like that, and you're like, no, hang on, I'm not getting enough money. Let's raise the apple price from 5 to 6. So then this guy is going to have to go through the program and say, okay, here's a 5, let's change that to 6, here's a 5, let's change that to 6, and so on. But instead of having to do that, you have a constant at the top, you can just change the value, and it'll change automatically. because you're using this constant. So you don't so you can avoid having to go down the program and say, okay, but this change this to this, this, this. No, you don't have to do that. It's really simple. So that's how constants are used in programs. So yeah, one more thing. In the exam, like in the pseudocode question, in the pre-release question, they may ask, they may say declare a constant that you used and state its use. It's important that you when these questions come, you give the constant name and its value. Make sure that you give its value as well, because if you don't give its value, you could have lost a mark. Because in the mark scheme, it says 1 mark for constant name and value. Like they're really strict on that. So yeah, make sure that you give its value. For variables, the mark scheme might say give the 1 mark for the name and data type, but maybe not. If you want to, you can have the data type, but I don't think it's that important. In fact, yeah, I don't think they'll mark you down for not giving a data type, because we're not using data types here, are we? Yeah, so they're not, like in Python, you don't have to give the data type. So here, I imagine you don't have to give the data type. If you want to, you can, but you don't have to. But make sure that you always give the constant values in these types of questions.